You know, like I never actually, I want to avoid just cleaning, so I was just trying to hide this everywhere, but I can't figure out where to hide it, so I'm just going to take it downstairs now. Okay, you know what? We're just going to go from the top of my head here, because really, in all honesty, I don't really know how to start the story or even explain it. Let alone, would it even make sense, because you don't even know who I am. And if you do know who I am, well, you already know this story, so why are you watching this video? Okay. So, trying to make sure this camera is pretty good here. I think that's a good spot. It's kind of moving. Fuck. Right there. Yes. Perfect. Okay. I kind of don't know if we should have that light on, man. Oh, I'm so picky with the set, man. And it's not even like a professional set. Man, this is my... I almost spilled the protein shake. Done that way too many times in my life. But... Alright, man. So, first and foremost, thank you for tuning in. My name is Kimry. This is my story and how, well... addiction destroyed my life and people around me as well. Still suffering to this day from multiple problems with mental health just because of previous addictions. And I kind of want to touch base on some things like psychedelics and how using them probably more than like 2 or 3 times in your life is going to be detrimental to your health. And how that kind of sent me down a rabbit hole of pharmaceutical pills, which ended me in rehab last summer. So this July, I will have completely 1 year sober from benzodiazepines and opiate pharmaceutical drugs. I still do take kratom daily here. Probably kind of hard to say this, but like 18 to 20 grams of it every single day. The tolerance built quick, man. I was looking in my journal the other day, and it literally said I was taking 4 to 6 grams a day back in like last August, and it's June of 2022 now, so almost a year, about 10 months. But in that 10 months, I had developed a massive dependency, and I can't really even get out of bed in the morning sometimes. So like, if you do take kratom, tell me your thoughts on it below, and like, let me know how it affects you as well. Also, if you're enjoying this so far, please drop a like. It means the world to me. Thank you so much. Where's the fuck did my thing go? It's in my pocket. Okay. This is another addiction right here. Vaping. Tobacco. So, shit, man. Kind of want to take my glasses off because they looking crooked. Am I tripping? I think I'm tripping. God damn it. Also, subscribe as well in case you want to know more details on specific things I'm going to mention in the story. This is just going to be a summary of everything that's basically happened since 2014 and how it's affected everything around me and myself. And hopefully this can be a guide to others not to follow in my footsteps or to just listen to your parents, guys, and don't just go out and rebel against them for no fucking reason. It's not going to work out for you in the long run, I promise. Unless your parents are absolute pieces of shit. In that case, I don't know what to tell you. But if they're not, and they're most likely not, they're probably loving and caring. Cherish that shit right now. Love it. Appreciate them. Be grateful for them. Count your blessings every day, you know? Do not do what I have done. Also have to point out that this video cannot be demonetized by YouTube because this is following all the community guidelines up above or wherever on the screen it's gonna be put. I don't really care, but you know, this is not glamorizing drug use. This is the opposite. This is to educate people and to show them how truly bad it really gets, because no one really talks about like a lot of the symptoms you get from withdrawal. Like they say it's like a really bad flu or something like that. It's so much worse. It is. Okay, so first maybe I should start that I have like hypochondria or whatever, so I really have bad anxiety, really bad anxiety. I've suffered from panic attacks for 4 or 5 years, and I just barely started a couple months ago actually mastering my emotions. And I can't even say that. I don't know why I said mastering. It's not even possible for me. But it's like, I shouldn't say that either. But it's just, I'm starting to get more clarity on the subject, or just like on how I'm feeling and how it's not actually me, and on the awareness underneath the anxiety and underneath the depression or whatever it is that day that is affecting me. And once you start to realize that, you start going down a better path, okay? And I know it's probably some hippie bullshit you hear all the time. I'm not saying like go do all that stuff or whatever. Meditation and yoga does help for anxiety and depression. I still struggle to implement those into my life as well, and it's probably because of the kratom codependency. And I'm getting way off topic here, so shit. Where the hell was I going with this, man? All right, so 2014, I was dating a girl in high school. I was on the football team. She was a cheerleader. She cheated on me with some other kid, you know, whatever, bull crap. It happens, right? But like, man, I really thought it was the end of the world. Like, I had such a bad ego growing up because I was just a really kind of a brat, honestly. I really did not listen to anybody, and got in trouble a lot throughout my life. And I definitely moved a lot from school to school. I was always the new kid. It was a struggle to fit in. And so when I smoked pot for the first time in 2014 after I was cheated on, man, I felt like I immediately found my new crowd to hang out with for life, man. I thought this was the bee's knees, you know. This marijuana was like my favorite thing in the world from the age of 15 all the way till basically now. I'd say it's still like my preferred drug of choice, but not in the same way, I guess. I still am trying to cut back, and that's actually my biggest goal for 2022 is to just quit marijuana altogether, because I noticed that all that crap you tell yourself about how creative it makes you, how much more relaxed you are, and how much better you feel, it's completely false. Like, it's just THC, dopamine confusing your mind, thinking that that is what's happening. But in reality, your mental health is going to shit. You're having anxiety and panic attacks, and people don't really talk about that. They say marijuana helps that, but it really doesn't. Most people start to suffer from anxiety, especially in today's age, just because of how strong it is. And they're starting to release studies that, like, if you smoke dab, it's literally addictive and like physically dependency, and you're gonna have withdrawal symptoms if you stop, which completely makes sense to me, because I mean, nicotine has that exact same thing, and you're getting a massive hit of dopamine when you take a dab or smoke any bud strain that is high in THC content. And I definitely think it does make you lazier, and it makes your brain a lot more fogged, and you're not able to perform to your 100%. And now, if you like doing that, that is your life. You go for it. I'm not bashing you for it or anything. Everyone can do whatever they want with their own body. I'm just saying, maybe give it a try for 30 days, quitting marijuana, seeing how much more energized you feel, how much better you remember things. That is like the number one issue I have. My memory is so bad when I smoke weed. And I smoke weed like a fool stoner, man. Like, I, all day long, from the moment I wake up, it's after my kratom and coffee, I smoke, and then like 2 hours later, I smoke again, and an hour later, I smoke again. And this is dab, okay? It's not like marijuana. And I've been transitioning back into the reefer, the flower, you know, because, well, like I said, the dab is just not good for you. I think it does cause some sort of cancer, and I wasn't buying dab from a dispensary, obviously, so it could just be cut, and that's why I have such negative side effects. But I'm starting to hear more around the web somewhere that it is just not good for you, okay? Anyhow, that introduced me to alcohol in 2015, and I got really into partying a lot, and like, shit, dude, I can't even explain it, man. There was this one party I was at where I literally ripped the entire railing out of their stairs, and it was like a good 30 stairs to their basement, where I ripped out the railing and just dragged it down with me, because I fell down the stairs and grabbed onto it, and I ripped it out of the wall, and it just kind of came down with me, right? And alcohol, I stopped having social anxiety with it, so it really helped me talk to girls a lot when I was in high school, because I really struggled to talk to girls growing up. I was super shy and very nervous. Like, I'd get such a dry mouth and start shaking. It was embarrassing, okay? But I'm sure some of you can relate. Confused right now. See, that's another thing, man. If you smoke weed, your fucking thoughts, bro, like, it just hits a freaking wall. And like, I don't know. As soon as I hit that wall, bro, like, it's just gone for a minute. You gotta wait. So we're gonna wait, and I'm gonna come back to it? Okay. No. All right. Now this is for the fun stuff. Okay. The next year rolls around. Or actually, I think this was summer, July 4th of 2015. I tried magic mushrooms. Holy crap, man. That was like one of my favorite experiences of my life. I was laughing so hard for like 4 hours straight, man. It was crazy. My whole body was sore the next day because I was just laughing the whole time. And I continuously tried to recreate this experience. And I actually made better experiences with psychedelics moving forward, like doing very heroic doses with mushrooms, like 6.5 to 8 grams. It was ridiculously high. Like, I was never one of those people that took a half O, like 14 grams of it. That was insanity to me. But I did do a lot of it in a high dosage, and I used tea as well, so it was a much quicker trip that was a lot more intense. And I just remember one time I was seeing, like, my friend had a painting in his house in the living room, and like it was just like people kind of cleaning like up a castle, and it was a very old style painting of like farmers and just peasant people like doing their job in the city. And like these things came to life, man. They were literally like moving around and dancing on the freaking thing. It was crazy, bro. And I finally, when I started to graduate high school, I tried LSD for the first time about a month before I graduated on my 18th birthday. For the very first time I ever did acid was for my 18th birthday. And dude, that was something else, to say the least. Like, that was the experience that just kind of changed drugs for me altogether. At this point, I only tried mushrooms 4 or 5 times, and I smoked weed like basically every day nonstop since I started, except for maybe a 2-month period before I quit football. By the way, I quit my senior year because of marijuana. I just wanted to smoke weed. I don't know. It was bad, but you know, we all do our own shit at our own pace, I guess. But yeah, when I did LSD for the first time, man, like, I don't want you guys going out and then try that. I know there's YouTube channels like Psych Substance on here that talk big about it. And that's actually how I found LSD. Like, I saw his video. I was subscribed to him with like 15,000 subscribers. He released an LSD versus alcohol video. And all my friends really liked drinking at the time. And I kept getting sick because I would overdrink, didn't know my limit. And I just hated alcohol. I hated the way it made me feel. I was getting angry. I was a bad drunk. I was an asshole. And I just don't drink alcohol at all anymore. And if I do, it's like maybe a glass a week or every 2 weeks, or maybe a beer every 2 weeks. Like, it literally is that much. I've never had an issue with it other than like when I was in my junior year of high school, and that was just for like a summer. And LSD, though, it was like everything I was looking for in a drug. It was just like the creativity, the experience that completely took me out of my body and kind of put me in a different universe, even though that's not like what LSD does. It feels that way in a bit because of the dissociation from reality and how amazing the trip is. And like, yeah, there are bad trips for sure. I've never had one on LSD. It was only on mushrooms. I'll get into that later. That's kind of what rocked my world, actually. But LSD at the time, I had just seen my friend who also was doing this white stuff with it, named MDMA, and he offered me to try the MDMA with the LSD, and it was called a candy flip. And dude, I guess I was just too stupid at the time and didn't really care about my future, even though I had a lot to be grateful for at the time. I had a scholarship to college. I was going to move in to like a dorm for very cheap with friends down in completely different city from where I lived growing up. I had a girlfriend at the time who meant the world to me, and like, I don't know what was wrong at the time. I don't know what I was trying to find or miss. It was just, I had to prove my point to the world, you know, that I'm a risk taker and I can do fun, crazy things and just be a rebel, you know. Like, it's some stupid ass attitude 18-year-old has, you know. And I don't know if every 18-year-old acts that way. I know a lot of them don't, but like, I did, and it was it bit me in the ass, and I do regret it, but like at the same time I don't, because I did have I've had a crazy journey to this point, and I am grateful for every moment so far. So let's see. But yeah, when I tried the candy flip, man, it was it. Like, that was the last straw, basically, that solidified me as a drug addict. Once I tried MDMA, man, that was like all I was interested in the summer after I graduated high school. And I was having sex on MDMA. I was doing it 3-4 times a week, man. Like, it was bad. It's questionable if I was even doing pure MDMA at the time. I'm sure some of it was meth, just because of how addicting it was for me. And it was just the most blissful experience ever. I know a lot of people have heard about that. If you're watching this because you found this video through like searching through drug rehab stuff or whatever on YouTube, you know, like MDMA is the best feeling from any substance you can possibly experience. But it is like the worst come down ever. And the depression starts to become so real that like you don't even remember what you were before you started taking it. And I know a lot of people don't struggle with that. They can only do it maybe once a year, and that's great if you can. I cannot. MDMA is like my kryptonite. It literally was it is still my favorite substance on this earth. Even with how much hell it put me through and how much possible brain damage it did to my mind, I still just, that was like my favorite by far. And rolling around into the fall of 2016, I had done cocaine, and I swore to myself all of the summer of 2016 after high school I would never do that, because I had friends who were doing it and I had looked down on them profoundly, even though I was doing MDMA like every couple days. And I just, looking back, it's insanity to me, but like that's literally what I did believe. And shit, man, like cocaine was never really one I struggled with too much until 2017, when I broke up with the girlfriend I was currently with from the end of high school to the end of 2017. And during that year, I did do coke like every couple weeks or something like that. It was kind of getting expensive here and there. And then I had a lot of college money that the university gave me, the community college. And I used all of like the $2,000 they gave me for books and stuff for cocaine. I'm not kidding. I destroyed my entire credit score within this time as well. Maxed out like 8 credit cards. I was doing cocaine, but mainly MDMA, and I was snorting both of them every couple days. My nose is still kind of messed up to this day because of the snorting problem I had in the past. And roll forward kind of the summer, I go to Hawaii, and for some reason something just felt off when I came back from Hawaii. Like it almost like I came back to a different universe or something like that, even though I know that's not true. But like my girlfriend and me just started growing more distant pretty quickly, and I hadn't really been doing MDMA for months because of how much the come down was just affecting me. But the more we were separated, like the more I would do Molly, because it made me feel like I was with her, and that was really what I was chasing for, just because we didn't get to spend a ton of time together because of how busy we were, and we were still kind of on different paths in life too, and that's probably what drove us apart. And to this day, I still cherish her, and I'm so grateful for our experience and stuff, even though it didn't end well. Like, I know in the good times, they still outweighed the bad ones, in my opinion. But like, yeah, I'll never get back together with her, obviously, but you know, I kind of like, we break up or whatever, I start going kind of crazy because I'm getting all paranoid or something, because I see that she made a friend at work that's a guy or whatever, and you know, about 8 months after we broke up, they got together in a couple or something like that. And it's whatever, you know, life is the way it is. And I kind of was being very avoidant of everything, and just every time a problem came up, I'd do cocaine or MDMA, or I'd pop some hydrocodone or Percocet, and that's when the opiates kind of started with everything else. And the opiates and cocaine addiction started going in tandem at the end of the summer in 2017. Up into October, me and her break up. My coke addiction skyrockets. I overdose on cocaine. I end up in the emergency room, spend the night in the ER. I had like hypotension and freaking insanely bad heart palpitations all night long. I suffered from chest pain for a couple days after this, and it kind of went away. I never touched cocaine again, except for like one more time about in 2020, because the whole world was falling apart, whatever excuse I used that time. But it was a one-time thing, and I haven't done it since then. But in the 2017, I really started to kind of go after what Psych Substance and other YouTubers say about psychedelics and how they help you find your way through your journey. Or if you're struggling and you're kind of lost, they'll give you the clues you need to get started. Basically, they're not going to answer all the questions for you, which after my breakup, I was so broken that like I had to like figure it out, you know? I did not know like what to do. When I overdosed on cocaine, it was intentional. Like I did an 8-ball in a couple hours. It was insane. And the weirdest thing too is they were trying to tell me it was like a panic attack or something like that. But like I had never felt anything like that in my heart before. The way it was beating was so irregular, and just disturbing as hell. Such bad paranoia at the time, you know, but my brain's all over the place right now. Jesus Christ. Explaining this shit is fucking harder than I thought it was going to be. It just feels weird, honestly. I don't know. Talking all this into a camera is just like different. Like technology, I'm pouring my soul into you, and you're a freaking piece of digital electricity. Well, I guess we're all electricity, you know, back on topic. So I'm doing tons of mushrooms now in December 2017 and doing acid as well. My doses are increasing, and I'm hitting the gym every single day though. Like, so I think I'm doing good at this point, you know, like I'm starting to kind of recover from this breakup, blah, blah, blah. I get a whole new identity. I chop off my super long hair and that was a mistake, but whatever at this point. I guess it took years to grow it out, like 3 or 4 years. And then I just cut it off because of a breakup. I was not very smart, to say the least, but I was doing so many drugs that I didn't really know what I was doing, to be honest, at all. And in January of 2018, this is when things take a very dark turn. Okay, this is the point where my life changed forever. And like, you would have thought like, oh, my life changed forever, like after that breakup and the overdose on cocaine, right? Like, no, man, this is like the point that like I had started like the hero journey or whatever, and then like I got to the abyss. Like, this is it, like right here. If I'm fighting my biggest villain ever, my biggest demon, and if I lose, I'm gonna die. And I had a complete mental breakdown while on a psychedelic mushroom trip. I'm freaking the hell out, sweating so bad. I had a Fitbit on for some stupid reason. Don't ever do that if you're on a trip, by the way. Don't ever look at your heart rate and just do stupid shit like that. You'll get fucked. But I need to stop swearing because I know YouTube will demonetize the video if I swear. Well, you know what? I don't even care, bro. This is the raw shit. But I lose my mind on mushrooms 2018, and I just remember how hot I was feeling. It was crazy. I had never felt this feeling on a psychedelic before. Like, I've had anxiety-driven trips where I was uncomfortable. This was something else, man. I was alone. I told my brother to go upstairs like an hour previous to this because it was just getting so intense, and I didn't want anyone to be around me for this because I was just gonna figure my shit out, right? And I was laying down just thinking, and then all of a sudden this insanely bad pressure was on my chest, and it was like the sharpest pain I had ever felt in my chest, and it was 100% a heart attack, you know, like what I'm saying. Like, there's no way this is anxiety or a bad trip. I am fucking dying, okay? And I am freaking the fuck out at this point, and I'm just breaking shit in my room, and then I crawl up the stairs because I was in the basement, and my dad's in the living room at like 2 a.m, and I start just screaming at him, I'm gonna die, please help, please help, please help. He's like asking me what I took, and I said mushrooms, and immediately he calmed down. He looked very worried at first, obviously, because I was sweating and stumbling over and screaming bloody fucking murder. And I just remember sitting on the floor, like crawling around in front of him, man. This is so embarrassing, like just crawling around in front of him on the floor, screaming and crying, I don't want to die, I don't want to die. And like, I don't know, I had not ever even thought in my entire life that could happen to me. And after that experience, I developed an anxiety disorder with a panic attack disorder and had to go on medication. And the medication that they did give me at the hospital that day or the next day or 3 days later, because I was still in the psychosis for about 5 days after the trip. Like, the trip was still going, basically. And every time I had smoked weed, even afterwards, like I had to quit weed for like 6 months because of this too. And well, actually, you know what? I kind of still don't really think that's true all the way. I do smoke in between there. I think maybe I took a 2-month break at the most after. Just so stupid and addicted to drugs. It was who I was, you know? Like, if I didn't have the drugs, I was not cool. I wasn't fun to be around. No one would want to talk to me. I would just be a bummer, basically, is what I thought in my head. I still struggle with those thoughts to this day, obviously, and I'm 24 now. It's different, but you know, it's getting better, obviously, like it does with time, does heal shit. You just got to put in the work and believe in yourself, you know? And I know that doesn't really sound like it's going to work in 2 years into this hell that you've been battling every single day, and nothing's getting better. If anything, it's getting worse. But like, you gotta want it, and things really are gonna get worse before they get better, no matter what. Like, when you're in these positions, it is just the way it is. But after this experience with the magic mushrooms, I didn't touch a psychedelic again for months and months and months because of how traumatized I was. I literally developed PTSD for this. I've been diagnosed with PTSD and bipolar type 2 since then, anxiety disorder, panic disorder, clinical depression, ADHD, blah, 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 you name it. I've been fucking, just, except for schizophrenia. They never gave me that one. I don't hear voices or crazy things like that, but I have had manic type episodes, but it usually was in result of me using too much stimulants. And I think the number one thing they gave me now is just ADHD with clinical depression and anxiety disorder or whatever like that. So if you suffer from those, please subscribe to this channel. I'm going to be talking about those a lot on this channel and try to help people here and just share my experience. So maybe someone else is going through something similar, that they can learn something or give them some hope, you know, that it's not too late. So the thing that kind of dragged me out of this hell though, so like we fast forward and I'm addicted to benzos now after about a month of being prescribed Ativan. I was getting so fucked up on it too. It was amazing for me. Like, looking back, like, I totally knew as soon as I got the IV in me from the doctor and the Ativan hit my system and the psychosis just stopped and I felt normal for the first time in years. I knew something was not going to end well. Like, I just knew this was a recipe for disaster. And I think my mother knew too, because she was also in the room at the ER with me. And she saw my face go from pure terror to just like, I feel like really normal. Like, what the hell just happened, you know? And I could just see the worry on her face now that I look back on the experience. And knowing what I know now, I know why. Because benzodiazepines are like the worst thing in this world, other than like heroin and fentanyl, to become addicted to. I swear to you on my life here, okay, that you will die if you just cold turkey with these things, okay? I detoxed properly for like 2 weeks and I tapered very aggressively for months before I went to detox. I still had a massive grand mal seizure, okay? I nearly died in rehab, actually. We're not gonna talk about that shit right now, but fuck, I'm so lost right now in my head. I'm trying to think again, bro. It's crazy how much stuff has happened in my life. Holy shit. Okay. Well, yeah, so we're addicted now to benzodiazepines, and this is when my psychedelic addiction took off, man. Because, like, now I can experience psychedelics with extremely high doses, and I'll never, like, lose my mind because I'm going to be on benzos. And I'm not going to remember the experience, number one, really, other than, like, maybe some really crazy monumental like parts of it, and also I'm not going to have a panic attack or anxiety attack, and that's what led me to the last bad trip, right? But really it was all a bad trip because for 2 years straight I was smoking DMT on peaks of acid trips, taking acid and mushrooms and DMT all at the same time, just insanely high doses of acid. I took 40 fucking tabs one time, and that isn't just ridiculous too. Like, I cannot describe a lot of the things I was doing with this because it still hasn't been 5 years, illegal stature, whatever the fuck. But you know, it's just looking back, like, I was really, really sad, and I literally wanted to leave reality because I was always in a different reality. When you smoke DMT on the peak of an LSD trip, you watch your room teleport you somewhere else, and your room morphs into like a time capsule. And what I mean by that, it's like you get to see how the area you're at right now is basically morphing back in time or into the future, but it's like you're still in the same spot in space, okay, but you're moving through time instead of moving through space, if that makes sense. And that's exactly how it felt for me. And then one time I did a Molly with DMT for the first time, and this is like kind of the first little knock on my head that really got me to like, I need to get my shit together right now. And I had a very, very hard experience on DMT. It was actually hell. And I was still on MDMA. I can't imagine like what the fuck would have happened to me if I was not on Molly for this experience, just because of how horrific it was. It was like almost like I had met some form of God and he was so mad at me, and like maybe it was just myself like being very angry at myself or whatever for all the shit I was doing for the last few years, and basically destroying my life for absolutely no reason other than heartbreak from a breakup that everybody has to go through in their life. You know, it's a normal thing, all right, on the way to finding the right person, if that's something you want to do. And I did it for no reason. I destroyed everything. I didn't go to college. I dropped out. I fucking broke my nice Subaru car I had that I worked on for years. And I also just like, I got so freaking in debt. I filed bankruptcy at like age 20 or some shit like that. It was ridiculous, man. And then I went to rehab finally about a month after that. I had been addicted to ketamine at the time too with the benzos. And I don't really want to talk about the opiate addiction with the benzos because there was a lot of overdoses in that time. And that was a really fucked up time actually. And I mean, if you really want to hear a story about that, maybe I can make something in the future. But you got to like the video, subscribe, and leave a comment down below so I know. And well, I went to rehab, and you know, like they say, the rest is history, right? Well, you know, addiction never goes away though, right? We kind of just replace habits with new habits, and it's not been easy. It's been really fucking hard, actually. I have relapsed a bunch of times on other substances, ketamine. I've done, I'm actually not going to say the name of it, but basically an opioid that was able to buy on the dark web pretty easily for like cryptocurrency. And let's see if there was anything else. I don't think so. I think I've snorted my medication once or twice as well, which I am prescribed Adderall, and I don't take it nearly every day anymore because I was taking a lot actually after I got out of rehab, just because I was so dysfunctional in society and I had to learn like communication skills and social skills. And like, yeah, of course I used a drug to learn these things again, which means it's not gonna fucking stick in the long term. So that's why I say, guys, don't do anything I've done. Anything. Listen to your parents, listen to your teachers, go to school, get an education, be a good person, and be grateful, because there's a lot of shit out there that is way worse than what I'm going through. And I'm going through some shit, you know. It's not easy. I mean, kratom has saved my life, but I also don't want to take it anymore. Like, it doesn't work, and I take too much. I take so much kratom, and I don't even feel the little buzz feeling that I used to get. Like, I don't even know when I lost it. It just sort of went away at one point. And then at that point, I knew the shit owned me, because if I didn't take it, I couldn't get out of bed. That's how tired it makes me. Like, the fatigue off of kratom is the most fatigue I've felt since I was like doing MDMA every day. So I don't recommend doing kratom unless you can keep it to the absolute bare minimum, like twice, 3 times a week as needed, basically for the worst situations of anxiety or pain that you are going to run into. It's not something you want to take all day, every single day. The time is just blurred between each other. I cannot believe I've been using this stuff for 10 months now. I don't know. I mean, I've done good. I've paid off a lot of my debt since I got out of rehab, so I'm proud of that. I'm very proud that I was able to buy like a very nice 2016 Toyota car for myself. It's the first car I ever bought for myself. Like, my parents always helped me buy the other cars in the past. And yeah, I need to start going to the gym again, obviously, because like I got real small. I mean, you guys don't know how fucking I used to look, but I definitely have lost like 30 pounds of muscle in my last couple of years and gained some fat instead. But, you know, that's just part, I guess, of growing up and trying to figure it out. And if you do have like anxiety or hypochondria, like when your chest gets sore from working out, you can kind of confuse that for, you know, a heart attack or whatever the fuck, you know, that you would think about, which is usually what I would think almost all the time. But I'm getting better week after week, day after day, just a day at a time. I start to see it now. I used to never understand, like, just love the journey and like stop caring about the destination. I could never wrap my head around that for some reason. I always need the why, and I always need the gratification before I even want to start something. But now I see you can never really truly actually do anything fulfilling if you don't get started without knowing. And then once you get started, you'll start to find your path, and you'll start to figure out things you do enjoy and things you do like and ways you can help other people. And then, you know, things start to come to you. They start to become clearer. And I guess that's it. That's all I really got for today. In this video, like I said, drop a comment with your thoughts, your experiences, yourself, if you take kratom and how it is for you, and if you take Adderall and how that is for you as well. I also do start ketamine treatment tomorrow for depression and anxiety. I will maybe make a video on how that goes. Maybe I'll have my friend record me who's taking me, because I know I'm going to be kind of fucked up and it's going to be funny to watch, because those always were. But it's in a medical setting, so it's not glorifying anything. If anything, it's glorifying treatment for you, depression, you know, and maybe I won't post it. We'll see. Anyway, peace out.